So, good morning, friends. Today we are going to discuss about a problem on simply supported beam provided with point loads. So, friends, a beam is defined as a member, any member that is capable of receiving loads at various points. So these beams are used for construction of structures. They're very essential for construction of structures, and therefore they are called as members of structures. Now, these beams are depending upon the arrangement. So beams are basically classified into four different categories, namely cantilever, simply supported beam, fixed beam, and continuous beam. Now, if a beam is fixed at one end and free at another end, it is called as cantilever. And if the beam is provided with supports at end points, it is called as simply supported beam. And sometimes both the ends of the beam will be kept in fixed position. So if that is the case, it is called as a fixed beam. And finally, in addition to end supports, if the beam is provided with additional supports at various points, then it is called as a continuous beam. So these are the beams generally used for construction of structures called as elements of structures. Now, we are going to discuss about a problem on simply supported beam provided with point loads. So as mentioned just now, if the ends of the beam are provided with supports, so simply it is called as a simply supported beam. That means a support is provided on the left, at the left end of the beam, and one more support is provided at the right end of the beam. So the ends of the beam are provided with, supports, one each at each end of the beam, totally provided with two supports at the two ends of the beam. So therefore, they are referred to as simply supported beams. So now we have to do a problem. Let us do a problem on simply supported beam. So this arrangement of the beam is shown in the first figure. And now in any case, while solving any problem, so we have to prepare shear force and bending moment equations. We have to measure the values of shear forces and bending moments at various points in the beam, and taking all these values we have to construct diagrams called as shear force and bending moment diagrams. So by taking the values of shear force, we have to construct one diagram. So it is called as a shear force diagram. And by taking the values of bending moment, we have to construct one more diagram. So it is called as bending moment diagram. So you are taking the values of shear forces and preparing shear force diagram. We are taking the values of bending moments and preparing a bending moment diagram. So therefore, a shear force diagram is a diagram which is used for indicating the values of shear forces at different points in the beam. So it is prepared by using the values of shear forces at different points in the beam. So that's why it is called as shear force diagram. And similarly, we are taking the values of bending moments. We are preparing one more diagram that is called as bending moment diagram. So a diagram which is obtained by taking the by plotting the all the values of shear forces. It is called as shear force diagram. And a diagram which is obtained by plotting all the values of bending moments. It is called as bending moment diagram. So friends, these are the definitions of shear force and bending moment diagrams. So generally asked in examinations. Now let us have a look at the figure that is given in the problem. So this is this horizontal member. So that is used for representing the simply supported beam, and this is the left side of the beam denoted by point A, and this is the right end of the beam that is denoted by point D. So two supports are provided at both the ends of the beam. So friends, you can see one support provided at the left end of the beam, and this is another support provided at the right end of the beam. So a beam is having two ends, left end denoted by point A, letter A, right end denoted by letter D, and both the ends of the beam are provided with supports. So this is the support provided the left end of the beam, and this is the support provided at the right end of the beam. So therefore, obviously, this beam is supported at both the ends, namely A and D. So that's why, friends, it is called as a simply supported beam. Now, let us talk about the length of the beam called as span or span of the beam, SPAN, span of the beam. So for measuring the length of the beam, we have to consider the end points. We have to consider the left end of the point, and we have to consider the right end of the point. Simply you measure the distance between both the ends of the beam. So that is used for indicating the length of the beam. So friends, it is not given in the problem, but this distance is given as 2 meters, and this distance is given as 3 meters. This distance, finally the third distance, it is given as, again, it's given as 2 meters. So all these values put together, it will be 7 meters. So this will be the distance between the ends of the beam. So therefore, the length of this simply supported beam is given as 7 meters. So we want to know the distance between the two ends of the beam. That is not directly given in the problem, but the individual distances are given in the problem. You add up all these values, you will be getting the total length of the beam. That is it will be coming to 7 meters. This is called as total length of the beam, also span of the beam. Generally, capital L or small l, these letters are used for indicating the lengths of beams. So friends, so length of any beam, it is referred to as span, and the capital L is used for representing the length of a given beam. So this is a very, important parameter. Now, friends, here in this particular problem, two loads are acting in vertical direction, in downward direction on this simply supported beam. So you can see a load of 14 kilonewtons acting at a distance of 2 meters from left end of the beam. And you can see another load of 28 kilonewtons acting at a distance of 2 meters from the right hand of the beam. So friends, they are called as point loads. Now we are going to solve a problem on simply supported beam provided with point loads. So in this arrangement, 2 point loads are acting on the upper surface of the beam. So first load of 14 kilonewtons acting at 2 meters from the left end of the beam, and another point load of 28 kilonewtons acting at a distance of 2 meters from the right end of the beam. So friends, these two loads put together, they are called as point. Now, as mentioned just now, the distances are already given in the problem. They are very, very useful for solving the problem and doing SF and BM calculations. First load 14 kilonewtons acting at a distance of 2 meters from the left end, and second point load 28 kilonewtons acting at a distance of 2 meters from the right end of the beam. And finally, the distance between these two loads is also given in the problem. So that is given as 3 meters. So this individual distances, you add up the individual distances, we get the total length of the beam. So 2 point loads are acting at 2 different points. The distances between these loads and the ends of the beam are given in the problem. And distance between these 2 loads is also mentioned in the problem. So friends, these distances are very, very essential for solving problem on this simply supported way. Now, we have to make arrangements for withstanding these loads such that the beam is in a position to withstand the load. So therefore, it is provided with 2 supports. So they are called as and the forces exerted, the resistance offered at these 2 points are called as reaction forces. So these forces are acting on the beam, so that they are called as action forces. So for each and every action, there should be equal and opposite reaction. So 2 reaction forces will be acting at both the ends of the beam. So we are providing supports at both the ends of the beam. So therefore, these supports will be offering certain amount of resistance. They are called as reaction forces. So as a result, the beam will have a tendency to remain in equilibrium position or static position. So friends, 2 forces are acting in a downward direction and 2 reaction forces acting at the ends of the beam in upward direction. And friends, the reaction force at the left end of the beam, this is called as RA, R for reaction, A for point A. So left end of the beam, we have, it is named as point A. The right end of the beam, it is named as point D. So reaction offered at point A, simply it's called as RA, and reaction offered at point D, simply it is called as RD. So friends, this is the way of apart from point loads of 14 and 28 kilonewtons, we have to make necessary arrangements for indicating the values of reactive forces RA and RD. So friends, these are the things which we are supposed to indicate on this diagram. And so it is provided with 2 supports. It's called as a simply supported beam, and 2 point loads are acting on the upper surface of the beam. So these loads are shown in the figure. Now finally, any force that is acting in downward direction, positive symbol, positive sign must be given for all the forces acting in downward direction. And negative symbol must be given to all the forces shown in upward direction. So friends, these symbols are very, very essential for writing SF and EM equations properly. So instead of plus symbol, you are using minus symbol. You will be going wrong in calculations. So all the forces acting in downward direction must be provided with positive sign. All the forces acting in upward direction must be provided with negative symbol. So friends, this is the important rule which we are supposed to remember. And secondly, the force is acting in a downward direction. The beam will have a tendency to move in clockwise direction. So, and on the other hand, if the force is acting in upward direction, then the beam will have a tendency to move in anti-clockwise direction. So friends, negative symbol must be allotted for all clockwise movements, and positive symbol must be allotted for anti-clockwise movements. So friends, these are the rules to be followed while giving symbols to downward and upward forces, and also while giving symbols to clockwise and anti-clockwise movements. So if you come across a downward force, simply allot a positive sign for downward force and negative sign for upward force. And similarly, allot negative sign for clockwise movements, and we have to allocate a positive symbol for anti-clockwise movements. So positive symbol for anti-clockwise movements, negative symbol for clockwise movements, positive symbol for downward forces, negative symbol for upward forces. So friends, these are the rules which we are supposed to remember while framing shear force and bending moment equations. Now finally, this beam, as per the data given in the problem, it has to be divided into 4 portions. So in some problems, it is enough if it is divided into portions. In some cases, it has to be divided into 3 portions. But so far as the data, as per the data given in the problem, this beam has to be divided into 4 portions. So the first portion called as AB, the second portion called as BC, the third portion called as CD. So distance between left end and the first load, that is AB. Distance between the 2 loads, that is BC. Distance between the second load and right end, that is CD. So therefore, friends, for solving the problem, the entire beam, the length of the beam has to be divided into 3 portions, namely AB, BC, and CD. So this is another thing which we are supposed to do, before starting the problem. Now, one more thing is, it is always better to start from the right side of the beam and proceed towards the left end of the beam. So friends, we have to prepare SF and BM equations for the portion CD, and then we have to prepare SF and BM equations for the portion BC, and finally we have to come to this region and we have to prepare SF and BM equations for the portion AB. So always it is better to start at the right side of the beam, and we have to proceed towards the left end of the beam in reverse direction. So you are moving in this direction. So it is called, if you move from this point to this point, it is called as forward direction. Now you are moving from this point to this point. So therefore it is called as reverse direction. So first frame the equations for CD portion, then frame the equations for BC portion, and finally you frame the equations for AB portion. Of course, make calculations, and we can easily prepare it's a SF diagram, which is the SF diagram given in the problem, and this is the another result answer, that is BM diagram, bending moment diagram. So given as a result of this problem. So friends, this is the thing which we are supposed to, these are the rules, basic rules which we are supposed to remember for doing problems either on cantilevers or simply supported beams. In any case, all these rules which we have discussed so far, very essential for solving the problem, for writing equations, for making calculations, for getting SF and BM values, also for construction of SF and BM diagrams. And friends, lastly, now while for framing equation in every region, we have to consider a vertical section at a distance of x meter from the right end of the beam. So you are framing, first we are starting from CD, we are supposed to go to AB region, AB portion. So we are starting at CD portion. Now we have to prepare SF and BF equations for CD portion. For doing that, we have to consider a vertical section XX, capital X, at a distance of small x meter from the right end of the beam. So friends, this will be useful for framing SF and BM equations so far as CD region is concerned. So next you go to BC region and again consider a vertical section XX, again at a distance of small x meter from the right end of the beam. That is useful for framing SF and BM equations for BC portion. And finally, you come over to AB section, AB portion. Again, consider a section XX. Again, at a distance of a small x from right end of the beam, and prepare SF and BM equations. Very useful for calculating the values pertaining to this portion. So at each and every portion, we have to always consider a section that is at a distance of x meter from right end of the beam. So for CD region, x has to be taken from right end of the beam. And at the BC region also, the section has to be taken at x meter from right end of the beam. And for AB region also, the section has to be considered at a distance of, again, at a distance of x meter from the right end of the beam. So the same rule has to be followed for preparing equations at firstly at CD portion, secondly at BC portion, and finally at AB portion. So friends, these are the things which you are supposed to remember. And finally, at the CD region, only one force is acting in upward direction. We have to consider only that one force. And at the BC region, if you consider a section, two forces will be coming into picture. This force will be coming into picture, and this force will be also, coming into picture while preparing the equations. And at AB region, we have to consider all these three forces. This force will be coming into picture. This force will be also taken into consideration, and this force must be also, taken into consideration. So, friends, this is the way of framing equations and solving the problem. So upward forces in all the regions, in any region, upward forces must be, allotted with negative symbol. Downward forces must be allotted with positive symbol. Clockwise movements must be allotted with negative symbol. Anti-clockwise movements must be allotted with positive symbol. So friends, using all these rules, very easy. It will be very easy, dead easy for framing this SF and BM equations. And also, for getting the values, SF and BM values at different points in the V. So these values, of course, ultimately, they can be used for construction of SF and BM diagrams. SF values obviously can be used for construction of SF diagrams. BM values obviously can be used for construction of BM diagrams. Now, friends, lastly, we were talking about considering of sections in all the portions. Now, fixing limits is very, very important for getting SF and BM values. So therefore, friends, while doing CD calculations, lower limit is taken as 0 meter and upper limit must be taken as 2 meters. And for BC portion, lower limit must be taken as 2 meter and upper limit must be taken as 5 meter. 2 plus 3, 5 meter. And similarly, for AB portion, lower limit must be taken as 5 meter and upper limit must be taken as 7 meter. To substitute these limits in general in corresponding SF and BM equations. So you will be getting SF and BM values at different points. You take the SF values and prepare a diagram. You get a shear force diagram. You take bending moment values and prepare a diagram. So you get a bending moment diagram. So friends, these are the rules ultimately which you are supposed to follow for while solving problems, of course, on simply supported beams as well as cantilever beams. So friends, let us go to the next slide. It's calculations. The equations are given for different in the coming slides. You find equations for different regions and values, which lower limits and upper limits and values at the different points and all that so can be seen in the coming slides. Now, friends, this is a simply supported beam provided with supports at ends A and D, at end A and D. So point loads acting at point loads of 28 and 14 kilonewtons acting at point C and point B respectively. So for these loads are at a distance of 2 meters, as already discussed in the previous slide. These loads are at a distance of 2 meters and 5 meters respectively from point D, that is the right end of the simply supported beam. Now friends, we have to determine reaction forces. Action forces are given in the problem as 28 kilonewtons and 14 kilonewtons. But we need reaction forces also for framing equations and getting the values of SF and bending moment, SF and BM values. So determination of reaction forces is very, very essential before starting the problem. So friends, sigma V is 0. That is one of the conditions of equilibrium. So RA plus RD, it is written as 14 plus 28. So sigma V is equivalent to 0 in the sense sum of all the downward forces must be equivalent to sum of all the forces acting in upward direction. So this is the sum of all the forces acting in downward direction. This is the sum of all the forces acting in upward direction. So we are equating these two values. So therefore, ultimately, RA plus RD can be written as 42 kilonewtons. 28 is in kilonewton, 14 is also in kilonewton. So therefore, 42 will be also in kilonewtons. And friends, the second condition, moment, about all the sum of all the moments about a particular point must be also equal to 0. This is another condition of this is another factor for equilibrium condition. So for that we are taking, that means the sum of clockwise moments must be equivalent to sum of anti-clockwise. So here sum of upward forces is taken as sum of downward forces for equilibrium condition. And for the same equilibrium condition, sum of anti-clockwise moments must be taken as sum of clockwise moments. So friends, we are taking moments about a point A. So RD will be an anti-clockwise moment. It is written on the left-hand side of the equation. And 14 and 28 form clockwise moments. They are written in the right-hand side of the equation. So we are equating these, two terms. So therefore, sum of, that means sum of anti-clockwise moments taken as sum of clockwise moments. So we have only one anti-clockwise moment that is written on the left hand side. We have two clockwise moments written on the right hand side. So all the clockwise moments to be written on one side and all the anti-clockwise moments to be written on another side. So friends, this RD is acting at a distance of 7 meters from point A. It's written as RD into 7, force into perpendicular distance. And again, this is a load of 14 kilonewtons. So that is acting at a distance of 2 meters. 2 meters from point A. So it's written as 14 into 2. And 28 kilonewtons, it is acting at a distance of 2 plus 3 is equal to 5 meters from point A. It is written as 28 into 5. So 7 RD will be equal to 14 into 2 plus 28 into 5. Simplify all these things, and finally the RD, the value of RD is obtained as 24 kilonewtons. And again, substitute the value of RD in the first equation. We can measure the value of RA, that is given as 18 kilonewtons. So friends, we may not be using, we are proceeding from right hand side to the left hand side of the beam. Therefore, we will not be using as such. Actually, we will not be using the value of RA for framing equations. But definitely we need the value of RD for writing the equations and getting the values. So therefore, using all these rules, using the conditions of equilibrium, sigma V is equivalent to 0, sigma M is equivalent to 0. So these are the conditions of equilibrium. Sigma V is equivalent to 0. It implies sum of downward forces will be equivalent to sum of upward forces. So we are equating these forces. And sigma M is equivalent to 0. It implies sum of anti-clockwise movements it implies a sum of anti-clockwise movements is equal to sum of clockwise movements. So we are equating these values and solving these equations for getting the results. So friends, as a whole, RD, we may not be using RA, but RD value is very, very essential for writing SF and BM equations for all the regions of the simply supported. So this is about so friends, in the case of a simply supported beam, measurement of reaction forces, calculation of reaction forces, very, very essential before starting the problem. So friends, now we have to prepare equations, SF and BM equations at different portions. As I've already told you in the beginning of the class, so you have to start from right hand side of the beam and you have to proceed towards the left side of the beam. So therefore, CD portion must be taken first. First of all, CD portion must be taken for writing the equations and making calculations, followed by BC portion and followed by AB portion. And we can find the equations, SFBM equations for CD portion. So friends, in the CD portion, only one force, that is RD, which we have calculated just now, it is acting upward direction. So SF is written as minus 24 kilonewton, negative symbol for upward forces. So it is written as minus 24 kilonewtons. Now it is acting at a distance of X meter from the section. So therefore, this bending moment is written as 24 into small x, that is kilonewton meter. So load is, the force is acting in upward direction, so it will result in anti-clockwise movement. So therefore, we are giving plus symbol for this anti-clockwise movement. So it is written as 24x. So friends, allocation of symbols, very, very essential for shear forces and bending moment, for obtaining shear force and bending moment values. And friends, as I've already told you, you have to take the lower limits and upper limits for x values. So for this CD portion, lower limit to be taken as 0 meter, upper limit will be equivalent to 2 meters. Now this SF is independent of x value. We don't have any x value in the general equation. So the value remains same. X is equivalent to 0, it should be taken as minus 24. X is equivalent to 2, also it is equivalent to 24. Now friends, coming to this thing at x is equivalent to 0. So substitute x as 0, so you will be getting 0 kilonewton meter. And take the value of x as 2 meters, then you will be getting the second equation. 24 into 0, it will be coming to 0 kilo. That means at x is equivalent to 0, bending moment is equivalent to 0. At x is equivalent to 2, so bending moment will be equivalent to 48 plus symbol. It is anti-clockwise moment. The plus symbol must be given. So it is plus 48 kilonewton meter. So friends, this is the way of framing the equations, putting the limits for this portion, and getting this SF and BM values for both the limits, SF value for lower limit and SF value for higher limit. Similarly, measure the BM value for lower limit and BM value for higher limit. So friends, all these things will be ultimately useful for construction of shear force and bending moment diagrams. Now friends, coming to the BC portion. So let us frame SF-BM equations. So here, if you come to BC portion, you are considering a section at a distance of X meter from the right end of the beam. So therefore, two forces will be coming into picture. So this force acting in upward direction, and this force is acting in downward direction. So minus is given to 24 kilonewtons, plus a symbol given to 28 kilonewtons. So ultimately it is given as plus 4 kilonewtons. So this again, friends, this is independent of X value. So, and again we have to fix the limits for this portion, as I've already told you. So 2 meters will be the lower limit and 5 meters will be the upper limit. So therefore, whether it is 2 meter or 5 meter, it is independent of X value. So therefore, at 2 meters, SF must be taken as a 4 kilonewtons. At 5 meters, again, it has to be taken as a 4 kilonewtons. And now, friends, let us talk about the bending moment equation. So here we are taking this force. So it will result in anti-clockwise movement. So it is written as 24 into X. And this is downward force, so therefore it is clockwise, it will be a clockwise movement, so therefore we are giving a negative symbol, and it is acting at a distance of X minus 2 meters. So this is acting at a distance of X meters, so it is written as 24X, and this is acting at a distance of X minus 2 meters from the section, so it is written as 28 into X minus 2. Now, initially you take the value of X, you take the lower limit of X value, that is 2 meters, and substitute the value, take the value of X as 2 meters in this equation. It is obtained as a 48 kilonewton meter. Take the value of X as 5 meters and you will be getting this. So friends, for BC portion, so we are framing equations in this manner, and we are fixing the limits, and for each and every limit we are measuring SF values for lower and upper limits, and also we are measuring BM values for lower and upper limits. So friends, we have done the same thing while doing CD portion analysis. The same rules to be applied for BC portion. The same rules again to be applied for AB portion also. So friends, the AB portion, again we are considering a section at a distance of X meter from the right end of the beam. So three forces will be coming into picture. 24 is acting in upward direction. Negative symbol is allotted to 24. 28 and 14 acting in downward direction. Plus symbols are allotted to these forces. So find out the final value. It will be coming to 18 kilonewtons. Again, friends, it is independent of X value, and therefore at X is equivalent to 5, it will be equivalent to plus 18, and again at X is equivalent to 7, also it will be equal to 18 kilonewtons. So friends, as I've already told you, fixing limits is very, very essential for calculating the values. So in the first case, it is fixed as 0 and 2 meters. In the second phase, it is fixed as 2 and 5 meters. So in the last portion, lower limit, it is fixed as 5 and 7 meter. That is, lower limit has to be fixed as 5 meter. The upper limit has to be fixed as 7 meters. So these are the limits, friends. These are the limits as far as AB portion is concerned. So now similarly, let us write down the bending moment, equation. So this is acting in, upward direction. So therefore, it will result in anti-clockwise movement, So plus symbol is coming before this moment. And these forces are acting in downward direction. It will result in clockwise movements. So therefore, negative symbols allotted to these movements. So friends, if negative symbol is coming in the SF equation, positive symbol will be coming in the bending moment equation. And if positive symbols are coming in the shear force equation, automatically negative symbols will be coming in the bending moment equation. So these are the blind rules which we are supposed to remember. And friends, this 24 is acting at a distance of x meter from right end. So it's written as 24 into x. So 28, it is acting at a distance of x minus 2 meters. So therefore, it is written as 28 into x minus 2. And 14, obviously, if you look at the figure, it is acting at a distance of x minus 5 meters. So therefore, it is written as 14 into x minus 5. So friends, it is very simple to frame equations at each and every portion. Very simple to frame lower and upper limits. And very, very simple to make these calculations. So friends, substitute the value of x, take the value of x as 5 and put it in this equation. It will be coming to 36, ultimately it will be coming to 36, kilonewton meter. And take the value of x as 7 and put the value of x as 7 in this equation. Ultimately, you will be getting this value, that is 0 kilonewton. So friends, dividing the beam into different portions, starting from the right side of the beam and proceeding towards the left side of the beam. So that is very, very important. Allocation of symbols are very, very, important. Plus symbol for downward forces and minus symbol for upward forces. Similarly, plus symbol for anti-clockwise movements and minus symbol for clockwise movements. So all these rules are very, very essential for solving problem, making calculations and getting the results. And finally, friends, fixing of limits is very, very essential for all the portions. Fixing of lower limit and upper limit for CD portion. Fixing lower and upper limits for BC portion. And finally, fixing lower and upper limits for AB portion. So friends, take precautions regarding all these rules. Try to remember, memorize all these rules. Automatically, you will be in a position to get the correct results. You'll be getting correct results. So, and we got all the values, friends. We got all the values of SF and VM bending moments. So plot the values, plot SF values, you get a diagram, SF diagram, and plot the values of bending moment. Obviously, you get bending moment diagrams. And so far as values are concerned, some values of shear force will be positive, some values of shear force will be negative. Similarly, some values of bending moment will be positive, some values of bending moment will be negative. So all positive values will be coming above the baseline of the diagram. All the negative values will be plotted below the baseline of the diagram. So these rules ultimately used for preparation of shear force and the bending moment diagrams. And friends, this, we have already discussed about allocation of symbols. So as mentioned in this slide, plus symbol for downward forces, minus symbol for upward forces, minus symbol for clockwise movements, plus symbol for anti-clockwise movements. And considering a section XX at a distance of X meter from point D for writing all the general equations for all the portions. For all the portions, we are taking a section at a distance of X meter from point D only. So then only we can frame the equations and get the results. So we got the results here. We got the results of CD and BC portions. And these are the results. And we got the results for AB portion. We got SF and BM values for AB portion. So friends, take all these values and prepare these diagrams. To take all the values of shear forces of all the regions, prepare a diagram. You will be getting shear force diagram in this fashion. And take the values of bending moments of all the portions and prepare one more diagram. This is called as a bending moment diagram. So you will be getting bending moment diagram in this particular manner. So unless you make calculations, and you won't get the values of you won't get SF and BM values. And unless you get SF and BM values, we cannot, friends, we cannot prepare SF and BM diagrams. SF values essential for SF diagrams. BM values essential for BM diagrams. And lastly, friends, this is the baseline of shear force diagram, and this is the baseline of bending moment diagram. So we got some negative values of shear forces. So all the negative values must be plotted below the baseline of the shear force diagram. And we got positive values of shear forces also. So all the positive values of shear forces will be plotted above the baseline. So negative values are plotted below the baseline and positive values plotted above the baseline. And similarly, friends, we got, all the values of bending moment are found to be positive. You can refer the, fourth and fifth slides. So we have obtained all the bending moment values as, positive. So therefore, these values will be coming above the, baseline. So at X is equivalent to 0, bending moment is 0. X is equivalent to 2 meters, it is plus 48. At X is equivalent to, at this point, it is equivalent to plus 36. And finally, at this point again, it is obtained as 0 while making the calculations. So we took all these values and plotted this diagram. And similarly, we took the values of SF and plotted this diagram. So similarly, at X is equivalent to 0 at point D. So we got the value of SF as minus 24. At 2 meters, again, we got it as minus 24. And the next portion at 2 meters, it is obtained as plus 4 meter. So here we are going upward direction. And at 5 meters also, we got it as 4 kilonewtons. So we are getting this point. And again at X is equal to 5 meter, it is obtained as 18 kilonewton.
at 7 meters. Again, finally at 7 meters also it obtained as 18 kilonewtons. So we took all the values of SS and prepared SF diagram. Take all the values of BM, will be getting the BM value. So thank you friends for watching the section.